All right, all right. We're back at the podcast. I have a special guest today, Sal Fiore from the PedalCycle, as well as ERA Real Estate. Sal, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Tommy.
Pleasure to see you.
Good seeing you, buddy.
Sal and I first met up at one of the K-Chev networking events last year at Joe Bella's. So shout out to Joe Bella's and to K-Chev for organizing a great networking evening. Sal, has been a born and raised Toms River guy and has a very cool business. So when he was telling me about it at the networking event, I was like, we got to get this guy on, especially in the spring. So we kind of made it timely for Sal because his business is going to start really getting busy as we go. So the PedalCycle is a pretty darn cool concept.
It's a cool concept.
So it started when, in 2017?
So the previous owner, a friend of mine, Jesse Pomeroy, started it in 17 in Asbury. It was the first location. And then it grew a few years later after that into Beach Haven was the next one.
Beach Haven on LBI.
Yep, correct.
Yep.
Beach Haven. And then just most recently, they started kind of the Seaside thing last year, just very preliminary, but the Seaside kind of one is what I'm going to focus on, trying to grow it into like Ortley and like Lavalette, kind of get more of a wider range on that island over there.
I feel like they're going to love it there.
I think so. It's a cool, concept, an idea, and like a fun, business, summertime, hanging out. The pedal experience is like something we try and sell,
Pedal experience. So now let's think about it. How long is this bike?
It's big. I mean, it's like a truck. I mean, it's 16 feet long. Consider it almost, obviously bigger than this table, but
probably two of these tables. This table's probably an 8 to 10 footer.
Yeah, it's
it's going to be a little bit bigger than that. And now, how many riders can be on the
up to 14. So it's a guided tour. So there's a driver plus 14, passengers, riders.
So 14 friends, 7 on each side, or
it's 6 on each side. Mm-hmm. There's 6 pedals, seats. 6 on one side, 6 on the other. 5 each on each side can pedal. 2 of them are no pedals because of the wheels or whatever. So you can get up to 10 pedalers essentially on each side, and there's a bench for 3. Oh no, I'm sorry, 6 and 6. So it's 6 people on each side. So 12 on each side, and then 2 people on the bench. So 14. And then 10 of them on each side.
So the bench people are not pedaling.
So
and
you want to hang out.
So there's 4 people that get an easy ride.
That cannot pedal, I guess. Yeah.
Those are the heavy drinkers.
I don't think it's it's not hard to pedal by any means. It's more of just like the interaction and just like doing it. You're sitting across from your friends, you're hanging out, you're drinking, you're listening to music. So
let's talk about that. They can bring music on.
Yeah, there's Bluetooth. Yep, we're fully wired for sound. If it's at night, they're all lit up and stuff. It's a really cool, fun experience.
I've seen it down in Asbury, and a couple of my friends went on it.
Okay, cool.
I think last summer, so it is pretty cool. Now in Seaside, where are you guys putting it?
So last year they started out of like drifters, and they went to hooks. They went to the Ocean Place, the Ocean restaurant. But I'm trying to implement more people. I'm in contact a lot with Rob Salento of like Seaside Social House. I feel like it's going to be a good spot for us now. To the former Jack's Garage. So shout out to Rob. He's been like a huge help for me.
Rob, shout out. We have an event coming up there too.
So PedalCycle is a sponsor.
PedalCycle is going to be a sponsor at
April.
Rob's event on April 30th.
That's correct.
The K-Chev event. That's going to be at there. So that's great. Rob's been awesome to work with. Getting everything set
I'm going to try, and I'd love to get a PedalCycle there just to display it. I'd like to give away a ride. Definitely, I'm going to do that. So the PedalCycle is a sponsor for that event specifically.
You're looking for someone on the bench seat, I'll take it.
All right, yeah.
Awesome. So that is really cool. And I think it's a fun experience. It's a different experience. And again, it's probably for mostly bachelor and bachelorette parties, birthday parties, kind of things like that.
Yeah, the social aspect, let's call it, obviously is a huge aspect, but not everybody drinks. It could be catered to people that just want to go to like restaurants, or sometimes people just want to drive the bike around. It's fun.
Yeah.
So the whole the pedal experience is what we're trying to sell, and it could be catered to stopping at 4 or 5 places, or 1 or 2 places, or just we've had people just drive the bike around and have a good time, listen to music, and it's fun. It's a cool experience.
You could also just go to like a couple places for apps too, right?
Right. Yeah. Do whatever people want to do.
How many hours do you get on like a custom package?
It's a 2-hour guided tour, so you can buy the private bike, call it, as many people as you want, up to 14. That's $550 for the private, tour. But also if people are only, let's say 2 or 4, we'll try and like group maybe 2 people, two different groups together. I kind of consider it like a hibachi table where you might be eating with somebody else.
Sometimes that's
which
probably
sometimes
more
is
fun.
Cool, right?
Yeah,
so we
I
might
see that
try
being
and
more
like,
fun.
group 2 groups of 4 or something and try and get. We don't try and send the bike out with like 2 people. Obviously,
No.
We're trying to send it out with like 6 or 8, minimum.
Perfect. And it starts up now, and now that it's spring, I mean, you're kind of be coming into your season with this.
I mean, the website's up. You can go on www.thepedalcycle.com and schedule your tour. If some people are super planners, they can, plan a ride for June, July, August, whatever you want right now. Obviously, the weather's a little iffy. I would,
it's still a little too cool.
Bundle up right now, but we're up and running.
We're starting to see those 50-degree days, 60-degree days
the other day. Yeah, it was nice.
Even the Belmar parade is going to have 57 degrees, so that'll be good. I think Belmar would be a great town.
I think so too.
And Point Beach.
Yeah, I would like to Point, and I mean, I'll try for Belmar too. Point is definitely on our radar as a new maybe the next one of the next steps.
Manasquan might be good.
I like Manasquan too.
That would be a cool spot.
It's cool. It's just a matter of getting the approvals and the permitting and the licensing all in order and being able to operate, and then the businesses love us. I mean, we're bringing anywhere from 10 to 15 potential customers, just cycling them through every 2 hours, essentially on like the weekends, especially. So the bars and restaurants and everybody, they appreciate kind of what we're doing.
On a weekend, like, is this thing running like 4, 5, 6 times in a day?
Yeah, it can go from essentially 10 sometimes is our earliest to 10 at night is our latest. So it could be five rides in a day.
That's awesome. And the turnaround, once you get the bike back, I mean,
it essentially stops at the same place. Yeah. So the people that had the tour stop at that same place they started, and then the next group is there waiting. They get on, and we go and do it again.
So that's awesome. All right, so getting into this, so you want to. I mean, you're a realtor by trade. And I'm assuming you were looking to kind of add to your portfolio.
Yeah, I was always looking to do something. My wife and I were interested in like an indoor kids play place for like the longest time. Mm-hmm. And as I looked and rent and looking for build out and buildings and whether to rent it or to buy it, it's just a lot. Obviously, any business is a lot, obviously. But this came along. It was a friend of mine. He posted about it, and I liked it that the bikes were there. It's kind of an established business. It doesn't have a brick and mortar. It's just. And it's a fun business, people are paying it, for fun. It's not a need, business. It's a want and a fun business.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool. The seasonal thing is also kind of cool. We can just, kill it in the summertime pretty much. And, it's not like 365. Really.
Yeah, and take the winters off. Recharge the batteries. Yeah. And, before you know it, you'll be up in the Northeast and, running something with skiing.
I mean, we could do, anything really. It's just, crazy that still it's just the PedalCycle in New Jersey is the only, we call ourselves the premier party bike in New Jersey, but that's it. It's us, and I'm gonna, keep growing it and see where we can take it.
And I mean, this is something that you could kind of, have distributors or have people have other operators running in different areas.
Yeah, by no means did we like invent, this concept. No. It's huge, and like everyone knows it in like Nashville or like Austin or big cities like that. But we can essentially, we have all the infrastructure, and I could, franchise it to somebody or try, and just not Jersey. I mean, anywhere really. Yep. Once the, ball's rolling and we have the, secret sauce, ready to go, let's give it to somebody
and package it up.
Keep it going.
I think that the best thing you're doing is get your local area right, understand the dynamics, figure it out, and then look to take it to the next level. Because I think a lot of times guys run too fast, and they don't have the secret sauce. They don't have. Yeah. This is a business in a box. The way I look at it, if you can get it, once you figure out all your operational challenges and putting solutions in place.
I do agree. The franchise thing is, again, talking very, end game kind of, but I agree. And if I want to try and get locations, approved, and then maybe grow some bikes, locally, organically, and then if I get it, good enough to package it like, you said, business in a box, I mean, that would be fantastic.
That is good end game. So this summer you're going to just go with the 3 and start looking into the permitting process.
Yeah.
And then
so
maybe
we have,
like for 25. Put some other towns in place?
Yeah, so we definitely have the 3 going right now, Beach Haven, Asbury, and Seaside area, let's call it. I'm trying for Ortley and Lavalette currently.
I think Lavalette would love it.
I think so too. I'd really hope. I'd like to. That's why I'm starting with Ortley, so I have to go through Toms River because Toms River is Ortley. And then if I have Seaside, Heights, Ortley, and Lavalette, that's like, the whole kind of main drag there. and I could do any combination of Tom's River to Ortley to Lavalette, or vice versa.
I wonder though, also too, like down even in Seaside Park, could you do something with, you got a couple nice
possible.
restaurants down there. You got Bum Rogers.
Just
you got
about getting the approvals, really. Going through the proper channels and getting everything permitted and licensed and legal and being allowed to do business and drive the bike in the town and everything safely. Obviously,
that's the best thing that you're doing, is making sure that you got all the permits and licensing in place so that you don't have any issues. And again, because you don't want to have a problem with, especially a lot of out of town guests are going to be your target market. Awesome. So you're Tom's River born and raised?
Yeah. I grew up in Tom's River. I went to Tom's River schools, elementary, middle school, high school. I went to Monmouth University, so my college is not that far either. Still live in Tom's River. My kids go to the same school that I went to. They're going to go to all the same schools, which is pretty crazy.
That's cool.
He's at kindergarten right now at Hooper, where I went, and he's going to go to the same middle school and high school they all are that I went to. So it's kind of cool.
That is nice to. And now you've been with ERA Real Estate for.
So I'm also a realtor with ERA Americantown in Silverton, Tom's River area. I've been a realtor for 12 years as well, so I'm still obviously doing that.
It's a little bit of it's tough right now in this market.
I got some stuff going on, but it's tough right now. I mean, there's just not a lot of transactions happening, one way or another.
It was crazy right after COVID there.
21 was wild.
It was nuts, and now.
It's certainly slower. Some people are still, crushing it, great. I mean, everybody has, some people that have their good following and their business. I mean, I'm all for it. But it is, I would say a little more difficult for the everyday, agent, I'd say, than it, especially in 21. I mean, 21 was crazy. But
everybody wanted to be an agent then.
Everybody could sell a house after COVID. It was easy. My dog could have sold a house after COVID,
Closing time.
Oh, my God.
But I think that the 24 market, I've had a couple realtors and people in the business on over the last few weeks, if you've been listening. So, I think that, people are optimistic about this year.
I agree. I mean, with my colleagues and people I've talked to, I think, the spring always is a little bit of a boost, but this, specifically this year, I think it's, gonna perk up. I know I have a decent amount of stuff in like the pipeline and coming up already in the spring and the summer of, 24. So I agree. I think
hopefully the rates drop a little bit, and that would help move some people around. And again, I think that people I feel like some people feel like they're trapped, like they don't want to.
Well, yeah.
Like they have nowhere to go. There's not a lot of inventory. They're in at these lower rates from these days at 3.5% and
under 3.
Under 3. So
crazy.
like I mean I feel like there's a trapped there's part of them that's trapped too.
Also, like. They're in a good space financially. Pretty much everybody is, honestly, no matter where or when you bought, like your value is there. But then, like you said, where are people going to go?
Yeah.
Like, then you got to get a high interest rate, which is probably higher now than you had no matter when.
These interest rates go back to pre-2000, right?
Yeah, I mean, I compare it to like everyone's like, oh, what about like 1980 when the interest rates were like 13%? I was like, well, yeah, the house was $90,000.
Yeah. The hard time. Right now, it's hard because you have high interest and high values.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what's causing this. Yep. And it's tough because also that first time home buyers they gotta jump in, but it's hard to jump in.
Hard. I mean, I look at it. I mean, geez, if I was young 20s, whenever first time home buyer, mid 20s, whatever, this is tough. Like the values are high, the rates are high. It's expensive, man. I mean, everything's expensive now, which is a whole nother thing. But it's hard, dude. Yeah.
Agree. So I'd like to see them soften them and get people get the movement. But I mean, the realtor, you said it off camera, is like the kind of the quarterback of the whole transaction because you're the first one to start the ball rolling. So you guys, the realtors get the clients that start looking or the ones that are putting their market on the home for sale. Then you're connecting with the title guy and the home inspector and the mortgage guy and kind of putting the deal together with the right team in insurance.
Home insurance, whether turns into life insurance, whatever. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of business transactions that cycle around a real estate transaction, obviously. And it's just, I meet a lot of people. I mean, my family's a business owner too. In Brick, we own a repair shop as well in Brick. Cool. So, I mean, sometimes I'm there helping my dad do that too. But, we're Tom's River born and bred, and my dad's had the business my whole life in Brick. So we know a lot of people. That's the biggest thing, whether it's real estate, whether it's PedalCycle, whether it's, fixing somebody's car. It's just like, mainly now I've focused, not even focused on it, but tried to make a bigger emphasis just on like relationships. Like I'm personally never the guy to like hard sell anybody anything. Like I don't want to be hard sold, and I don't like hard selling anybody. So what, you just strike up a conversation with somebody. You're like, oh, by the way, like I own PedalCycle. By the way, like, oh, my car's broken. We went here. I'm like, oh, by the way, my dad owns a repair shop.
What repair shop? Let's give him a shout out.
It's Ocean Auto Tech.
Ocean Auto Tech.
Yeah, we're in South Brick Boulevard, 175 Brick Boulevard. Which is like South Brick, just where Silverton kind of turns into Bricktown. But yeah, my dad's been there for 38 years.
He's close. He's close to the Toms River border.
Exactly,
over there.
It is very close to Silverton. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the big thing is relationships. I don't know.
Relationships.
A lot of people talk about that's like a key thing, which is true. You
do business with people you like.
Exactly. For like real estate, any joker can look at data and compare comps and whatever. But you want to feel comfortable with somebody, and it's a huge transaction. And
most people's biggest transaction.
Absolutely. Right? So. Like you said, you want to do business with somebody,
that you like and trust.
Exactly.
And I think that's where the transparency comes in. And again, if you're doing right by your customers and you have a lot of referrals, you don't get referrals when you don't do a nice job.
Right.
So I think that's the key to it. And again, when you say your dad's been there for 38 years, there's something to be said for a business that's been there for 38 years. He's probably seen some highs business. And some lows, and everything in between. Because any business that's in business for 38 years is doing something right.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, owning a business is tough, especially now. But going through essentially 4 decades of, I mean, I think about it like he was like writing stuff, like handwritten receipts and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess there were computers, but I don't even know. Like,
no, but at the beginning,
certainly wasn't on the the level we're on now, where everything is just cloud, internet, computer based. But it's just crazy, going through different cycles with any business. But, It's wild.
What's his end game? I mean, maybe we have to have him on the podcast. Like 38 years, that's just incredible.
And he was in Newark too for like 8 years before that. My family's from up, North Jersey.
Yep, sure.
So yeah, he's just been at it forever. But it's hard. That business specifically, that's a dying breed of the family owned repair shop.
A lot of kids don't want to go into that. I have one employee, his father owned a repair shop and just recently sold it, and he's at Wingman, so he didn't take over the repair shop. So it's a different game. Everybody wants to likes the digital world now.
Yeah, it's just in general for repair shops, I guess. Now it's more like the corporate thing, which is almost the place with a lot of stuff. It's the mom and pop thing is a lot harder just because it's so expensive to do everything.
To operate and run. And
small business like yourself or myself, it's hard. And I don't know. I feel like people for the most part kind of understand it now. Especially like I hate to even mention COVID, but like everyone kind of has a blanket understanding that everything's just so expensive. And kind of almost like sympathize with like business owners a little bit. But I mean that's a whole other thing. But it's just it's hard. It's certainly not easy. Everybody.
It's a hustle. Every day it's a hustle. And again, I think if you got to have that right mindset to go into this because when you look at the statistics of businesses that fail after 3 and 5 years, you kind of have to have a screw loose a little bit to think that you could overcome those odds. And then you look at it with some people like yourself, you have multiple things going on. It's not just one. So you have a few screws loose then.
I guess so. I used to be I don't know, self-conscious that I was like a part-time realtor when I first started because I had another job. But now it's the common is to do multiple things. Like you said, have a side hustle.
But side hustle is a new word in the last maybe 5 or so years.
Common now.
But now it's very common. But I remember when I first before I went out on my own, I was working full time and I was starting a business, and I was like, not that I hid it, but it wasn't as acceptable as having a side hustle that it is today, because now everybody has a side hustle or multiple side hustles,
right.
Again, to meet the higher costs of the world. But at the time back then, but 15 years ago, the word side hustle didn't exist.
You're right. Yeah.
It was more like, oh yeah, I'm trying to start this, but then it got to a point where it was too hard for me to do the side hustle and work full time and do them both well.
Right.
And I said, I want to try this side hustle, and if I can make it work, great. If not, I'll try it for a year or so.
Absolutely.
Worst comes to worst, when I was about 30 years old. I said, if I lose for a year, all right, I lose a year of my life, but I'll take some lessons away.
You gotta try that.
And if I didn't try, I think I would have resentment that I didn't.
Regret. You never want to feel that way.
Again, one failure is better than a lifetime of regret there.
Right.
So I'm glad that I did it and it worked out. And, knock on wood, it worked out 15 years later. And, we have a team now that, again, I never thought we would have a team and we'd be doing podcasts. But,
awesome.
everything kind of happened. So, and my feeling is just keep going with it while the going's good, keep going.
Like you said, a few screws loose to get starting. But
totally.
To have that, I don't know, I've always been like that, to have the kill what you eat kind of mentality, commission based.
Yep.
Every business is essentially commission based. You're trying to sell your business or sell your service or sell whatever to make money. But to have that kill what you eat mentality, hustler mentality, I guess, I don't know, not everybody has it.
Not everybody has it.
I've just always been like that.
You either have it, I think you have it, or you don't have it.
Yeah, it's always, people almost make fun of me. I've always just been doing kind of weird things. In college, I got hooked up with a used textbook company where I just bought, and I didn't sell them, but I bought used textbooks with this company called Bell Tower Books. So I would just hustle during finals and buy everyone's textbooks and make a commission, and I would just bust my ass so hard during finals last week of school, I'd make enough money to support myself for the next semester. So instead of getting a TA job or something, bullshit, making $9 an hour, I would just bust my ass, make the commission, make myself money for the next semester.
I love it.
And then I wound up getting a job after college with that company too.
Really?
Yeah. So I've always done the commission, hustle kind of thing. You throw enough shit at the wall, I mean, something's bound to stick.
Something's going to hit. So, all right. So 12 years in real estate and still going.
Yeah.
And then, so now with the cycles, I think the PedalCycle is going to be a pretty cool business. I'm interested to hearing more as you take over your first season and really get into it, because I think that you do have a franchise kind of concept.
I hope so.
Yeah, with this.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cool business, a fun business. The pedal experience, I think I've mentioned it before, is something we're trying to sell. But in the season, in the summer, you get it in the right locations, and it's just about getting the word out, obviously. And I think it'll take off. I'd like to get some advertising in LBI. They have a VR LBI,
yep,
which
VR
is
LBI,
so if I can advertise on that, do specifified Google, or Facebook ads.
Run some targeted Facebook ads in there.
Location.
You could hit right in there. And the nice thing is every week you have a new audience.
Essentially, for the weekly rentals, 100%.
When you think about the experience is cool. I would definitely do it, but I'm not going to do it every week.
No.
But if you have new people coming down to LBI or to Seaside or to Asbury, every week you have a new group of people.
Yeah, if somebody's coming for a vacation or an event, a birthday, a bachelorette party, I feel would be awesome. It's again, you're not something you're doing every week, but maybe even the next year you have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's do a yearly thing.
Probably,
every
exactly.
year after year, if you come visit again, it's cool, and it can be changed. It's not like it's the same. Same ride or same experience. You can go to different places each year, with partnering with different bars and restaurants each year. And it's totally customizable. And
make landing pages for different tours too on your website. So you have, if you're doing Lavalette, get in with 2 or 3 restaurants and
absolutely.
Lock them into that deal, and then you could set up different ones. Also, I think some good Instagram targeting would be great for this too.
Yeah, we have Instagram, Facebook at the PedalCycle is the Instagram. We're on TikTok.
Wow, you must have watched our shows, because you're already talking about you're already into the closing. You're telling everybody where to find you.
You mentioned it a few times, and it'll hit one time.
There you go.
But yeah, some bars and restaurants, like you said, we are partners with. They offer specials, which is kind of cool.
That's great. Yeah.
So we'll providing that kind of service to customers where you get a special for being on the PedalCycle. Not even during that tour. The places will honor those specials for the day, which is kind of cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Tucker's in Beach Haven created a PedalCycle punch for us, which is kind of cool. It's a big kind of fishbowl type of drink, so people are eating that up or drinking that up, I guess, too.
I don't know where I want to go on my PedalCycle. I love LBI, but Asbury's right around the corner. But I got to see if the Wingman guys want to do an afternoon
corporate outings.
Yeah,
corporate
I think
that's kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Tying in the real estate thing, I think a broker's open would be awesome.
Would be great.
If they have rentals, shore rentals, or even properties on the island or whatever, and get a few brokers together and pedal to the things instead of driving or whatever. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. They used to do those caravan tours.
Right.
Too.
So have a PedalCycle caravan
Yeah,
instead of
that's fun.
the car caravan.
I love it. I think you have a lot of great ideas. I'm excited to see this pan out for you.
I hope so.
I really appreciate you coming on today and telling the story about
Thank you.
your hustle, which I think is so awesome. I love when we hear these hustle stories of it. That's the grit of it all. So I'm glad that you came on. I'm glad that the PedalCycle.com is going to be in 3 locations and looking for more. And keep doing great things out there.
Yeah, I got some swag for you here.
Oh, look at
the
that,
PedalCycle, the PedalCycle tee.
All right.
PedalCycle, New Jersey's premier party bike.
I like it.
All right, that one's for you. Just like
Awesome.
what I'm wearing here. And yeah,
All right, look at this, guys. All right, I'll be rocking that. And let people know where to find you. I mean, you were a little ahead of me, so tell them the website, social medias, so that people can find you and book online.
Yeah, the website is www.thepedalcycle.com. We're also on pretty much every social at the PedalCycle. So you can go online, book a website. There's a phone number online if you did want to make a call in. But pretty much everything is online, or we have YouTube videos. I mean, you just Google the PedalCycle and the PedalCycle, and we're going to show up.
This is pretty cool. I've never gotten a shirt, B, with all the interviews we've done and all the podcasts we've done. No one's ever brought me a shirt, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. All right, well, have a great day, and I will see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy.